Good morning and welcome to our Wednesday show, Jour du Galop, Inside News. Thank you very much for joining us. We're going to, as usual, talk about Saturday, our two to follow. Then we had two barrier trials yesterday. We're going to talk about that as well. And then some training for this week coming up. Myself and Shahil, we're going to go through that as best as we can. Let's talk about Saturday, the feature race, Opera Royal. It was a good win. I thought Coursier Ramsamy deputized well, or he substituted very well for Emmanuel Nunes. Gave him a good ride, I thought.
Yeah, a win full of merit. There was a good pace injected up front by Kings County, a very good pace, because they gave him a great ride. He settled nicely at the back, and he moved from the 500, which probably was the winning move, and he won well in the end.
Yeah, and another thing is, he was so badly out of the weight with a couple of horses. Titsikama Dance, there was another horse, I think it was the horse that I liked, Ready to Attack. Unfortunately, he didn't run any sort of race, but he was 5.5 kilograms worse off with Ready to Attack. But he won a good race, and it'd be interesting I wonder how this horse would have done in the maiden, because that was a terrific. I mean, I thought his win was full of merit. Probably definitely could have run in the placings as far as Saturday's race was concerned, carrying sort of a almost top weight and winning the race well.
That's right. Now I think his next race probably could be the Coupe des Présidents, where we'll have Al-Shiban perplexing again. So let's see how he copes there.
Yeah, okay. One was we ignored completely was Kazar. I mean, it was terrific races. Went back and had a look. There was a good run to White River, and there was another good run as well. There we go. I've written it down. Black Cat Back. He ran second to Black Cat Back, and he's running well, this horse, and he could win quite soon. Kazar, he's got good South African form, good form here.
Yeah, I did include him in my quotas. He was working very well, building up to that race. Showed that on Saturday. Yeah, probably if you can find another race like this without any top horses, you could bag one till the end of the season.
Yeah, El Sacra finally. Well, not finally. I mean, you've been talking about this horse a lot. I made him one of my bankers, and I must say I thought Oliver Placé gave him a good ride. He was beaten. Imal went past him. He went past him at least half a length, and terrific ride to come back and get El Sacra to get to win. He obviously is a horse that's got stamina. He's got obviously good stamina. Obviously, we'd like to see this horse go over a little bit further.
Yeah, right. I remember he was the pacemaker actually for a horse called Majestic Mambo in South Africa. So I think he's run up to 2,000 meters back in South Africa. So yeah, he's got no stamina doubts.
Yeah, I mean, our argument on Friday was the fact that he's beaten Kings County. Kings County's done pretty well here. Al Sacra, I don't think it was the strongest of fields, and well done if you had a little nibble on Al Sacra. Superstitious, have to say, great ride. Jami Al Hassan, beaten. He looked beaten. He switched him nicely. Great ride from him, and Jami is obviously riding with a lot of confidence.
That's right. When they were turning in for home, I was watching it with my friend. I was like, he's gone. There's no chance he's going to win. But the way he just kicked in on the inside, for me, could probably one of contenders for the ride of the season.
Yeah, very good ride. And then Springman, he's been following this horse for how long? And I did put him in my pick 8. Unfortunately, I left out Independence, but quite a lot of talk about Independence on track when we arrived. And but nice to see Springman got it all together. I think he's a lot better than what he has. Well, that's exactly what I said. He's a lot better than what he's shown us from that form of his back in South Africa. Maybe now that he's had a win, another Mauritian rider I thought put up a very good ride was Akash Balu on Springman. Gave him a good ride, yeah.
Yeah, just when I given up on him, now he's winning. Going back to Independence, I thought Diego gave him a great ride because we all know he's a front runner, but when Charleston Hero went to the front, he didn't panic, and he just sat right behind him, and the horse kicked on well to win.
Yeah. And then the last horse I want to talk about is Inauguration. I think that this horse is going to go on and win a couple of races. Terrific second to Captain Gone Wild. I heard that he had a couple of issues after that, but then I heard he was spot on for Saturday again. So that's why I was pretty bullish about him winning. He looks like he's going to be a nice horse, Inauguration.
Yeah, he looks to be a promising sort for the future. I didn't have a lot of racing experience in South Africa. I think it's only his third full front, so yeah.
Okay, all right, terrific. Well, that was Saturday. We've got more to talk about Saturday. Obviously, our two horses to follow. It was hard. Shahil sent me a message yesterday that he was doing Divine Connection, and it was tough to find one after that. But after a lot of studying, I thought that this was Turbulent Air is definitely worthwhile following in the future. Remember, he has been a horse to follow of mine before, and I think it was a long time ago, over a year ago, when he ran a terrific race, and he just hasn't gone through with it. He has dropped down from a 64 right down to a 44, and that's probably why he's becoming a little bit more competitive. He's now obviously off a lot more realistic rating. He's run behind some top horses back in South Africa as Turbulent Air, and I would imagine he's probably been a little bit his owners and his stable must be pretty disappointed with him. But showed a nice run yesterday. He jumped out. He was eased. He was near the sort of back most of the way. He had to turn wide into the straight, and they end up running a good second to his stablemate Independence. Listen, it wasn't the greatest of fields, I do realize that, but like I said, this was with the rating that he's dropped down to, he's obviously going to be a lot more competitive. And I'm going to say it again, especially what he's done in South Africa. He's run behind some really decent horses. So the fact that his ratings dropped, he looks nice and sound, and I think he's going to be a lot more competitive. So let's see if Turbulent Air can pick up one race before the end of the season. Obviously, he's not getting any younger, so it's not going to be getting any easier for him. But then again, Independence is he's not a youngster, and he's still winning his races. So that's what I like about Mauritius. You know, you get horses that sort of drop down into a division where they're competitive and they win a race. They might just pop up again and then take time to drop again. But that's what I like about the sort of the handicap system in Mauritius. Every single horse does eventually get a chance to win in his category, and I think Turbulent Air might just be near where he's winning mark. All right, like I said, Divine Connection, that's also you liked. I have to be honest with you, Shahil, that was a very encouraging run first time up.
Yeah, a very good run by this beautiful bay horse. He's a beautiful looking sort. He broke from barrier 5 and he was bumped shortly after the start. It was a pretty messy race earlier on, and he was racing tight, and he had to be checked when cramped for room, and he lost his position early on. He was caught into traffic before the turn in for home. He didn't respond initially when coursier Ramsamy asked him to go. He took 1 or 2 strides to get going, but once the penny dropped, he flew home to finish second. He gathered up really nicely, some good momentum, and he finished off well over the mile to finish second behind Springman. He's a 2-time winner in South Africa. He's won over 1,400 meters and the mile, so that suggests that he could be a miler. This Divine Connection is definitely one to follow, but I do think he needs some more experience. He looks to be a little bit immature, still very green, but definitely one to keep an eye on, one to follow Divine Connection.
Yeah, definitely. That was a good run. And who rode it? It wasn't Cedric.
Coursier
Ramsamy rode him, yeah. So Courtier's riding well. He's riding very, very well. And he's obviously riding with a lot of confidence, Coursier Ramsamy. But I do agree with Shahid. He's definitely going to be a horse worthwhile following, that Divine Connection. Right, we had 2 barrier trials yesterday morning. And the first one I'm going to talk about, we did have 4 horses there. The first one was won quite easily by Great Value. He had to repass. Obviously, we all saw what happened on Saturday. And yeah, well, I must say I wasn't 100% happy what I saw happening behind the stalls. I thought maybe a little bit too aggressive with Great Value, and that's probably why he thought, well, bugger you, I'm not going to go in. And well, he was obviously treated a lot better yesterday, and he went in quite easily. He jumped quite nicely. He had he had earplugs. He had the headband. And he galloped very, very well. And another horse that I think is ready to win. Obviously, the stalls is a bit of an issue, but hopefully if they sort of handle him with kids' gloves, the handlers here are pretty good. And let's see if he goes in next time. I think he'll be a big runner. Northern Rebel, he tried the blinkers on. He had the blue jacket. He was slow away last time. Jean-Michel has decided to try the blinkers. Wants to go slightly slow away, but he did end off his gallop quite nicely. He jumped slow into stride, but really finished it nicely. And let's hope with the blinkers he will improve. Manolet jumped with the blinkers. I like this horse, Manolet. He's run 2 nice races here. He has dropped 1 point now to be in the 0.25. And I reckon that he's good enough to win in that division. And then Simon Jones had a new horse, Asian Air, with a green jacket. He hasn't managed to win in 7 starts back in South Africa. He did place. I think he ran a 2nd and a 3rd, but not the most impressive form back in South Africa. Let's see how he goes. I think he's at 26. And let's see how he goes at Asian Air. But have to be honest, not the strongest form back in South Africa. Yeah. Okay, well, that was the first barrier. Shahil, you want to take us to the second one?
Yeah, we have 3 horses, all about the best, which trialed last week. He had the red jacket. He was trained with the blinkers this week compared to last week. He broke out well and he showed some very good pace early on. He wasn't asked to do much, but he still ran away from his 2 opponents in the closing stages of that trial. He's a 2-time winner by a warm white night in South Africa, and he's won both his starts on 1,000 meters, which suggests he could probably be a sprinter. That's why he showed so much pace in the trial. He started off his career in Flamingo Park, like you mentioned last week, but I guess he was just too good there, so they moved him to Joburg, and there again he won on his first start in Joburg, so won't be a surprise if he wins on his first start here in Mauritius too, all about the best. Tiger's Bond, he was asked to repass after some issues at the last start, where he didn't jump too well and his jockey lost his stirrup shortly after the start. He jumped a lot better yesterday morning and trialed nicely, and he finished off pretty well. He's a 1-time winner in South Africa on the 1400 meters, where he led and he won by more than 4 lengths, which was pretty impressive that day. He's run against the top 3-year-olds out here in Mauritius. He runs can rule the Night Viking Train, the Sabi Special, and even Good Buddy early on this season. He's entered in much more calmer waters this week. That is in race 3, benchmark 36 over 1400 meters. And then Kimberly, he has been a bit disappointing this season. Little promise shown latest when he 5th to It's Him, 2 lengths off It's Him. His trainer is hoping that the blinkers might help him. That's why he trialed with the blinkers yesterday, and his trial was all right. He jumped well and he went alongside All About the Best before All About the Best just stretched on the closing stages of that trial. He's finding life a little bit tough after 23 starts out here, but let's see what the blinkers can go with Kimberly.
Yep, all right. I do agree with that. Also, All About the Bass. He's been pretty impressive in his
2 trials. Yeah,
it's been pretty impressive for a horse that started off in Kimberley. All right, that was the barrier trials. Let's talk about some sand work. Obviously, we try and see. We're trying to see which horses are working well, and we try and point them out to you. The first horse I want to talk about is Halo. He worked with blinkers, and that was a terrific debut over 990 last time out, and well. He looks like he's going to be running in this week's feature race for Simon, and don't forget he is a 5-time winner back in South Africa. He's won over the 1400 and the 1600, and he's run with some decent horses, has Halo, and as mentioned there was a first good run over the 990. You can see that he's made the necessary improvement in his work. He's working pretty well, and hopefully he could pull it off for Simon. He's got another horse running on the day, which you're going to talk about later. I can't remember if it's nominated before or after this race. It's before. Yeah. Okay, well, let's hope that the horse that you're going to talk about later wins, and this could be Simon's 2nd winner of the season. He's come so close.
Yeah.
Saturday, once again, I really thought he was home with, was it Antwerp?
Second
I thought it was home and dry. Unfortunately, it just got touched off. I think it was superstitious, yeah. And I mean, at least things are looking up a bit for Simon. Those horses that were suspended can now run. So we're really going to be pulling for Simon to crack his first win. And like we said, the horse that you're going to talk about, I'm not going to give it away. And Halo. Going to be 2 nice runners this weekend for Simon. Right, Ziggy Zaggy Zuggy.
Hale is one of my 2 to follow, and so is this one, Ziggy Zaggy Zuggy. I've been waiting for him actually. He had a nice debut and he ran 3rd to Zen 0 on the 990, but that was 2 months ago. We haven't seen him much throughout these 2 months, but he remains a promising young sort. He hasn't had a lot of racing experience. He's had only 4 starts in South Africa, but he ran in the first 3 in all these 4 races. He's entered in race 1 this week over the 990. I'm happy that they're sticking with the 990 with him. He looks to be a promising sprinter. I remember on his first outing with Brandon Lee, he was hanging in badly. Probably he could have finished a lot more closer if he didn't hang in that badly. I think Swapneel Rama is going to ride him on Saturday because he was the one who galloped him yesterday morning. So Ziggy Zaggy Zuggy definitely one to keep an eye on in this first race. Yeah,
the only thing that worries me about this was, and maybe it's just me being a little bit paranoid, but he hasn't run after such a good run. Surprised we haven't seen him back in action. I'm maybe worried that maybe something happened to Ziggy Zaggy Zuggy, but he was striding out pretty well. He looked pretty good. I'll tell you something. The horse that I feel he's got to beat is Sarah's Secret from the Rajram Din stable. Same race, 990-025. Excellent run behind Cool Water last time. Maybe a little bit of lack of race fitness that just got him beat because he looked a winner, sort of 50 out, but he just sort of got touched off that last little bit. And he looks sound. He's working well. He's a nice horse, this Sarah's Secret. He's done pretty well. He has got issues as well. He does spend a lot of time down at the beach at Post Lafayette, and he could quite easily be Raj Ramdin's next win. He looked terrific walking back. Like I said, he looks nice and sound. He walked back to the yard feeling good, looking good, and I think he's a little bit better than 0.25. So Shahil, there's a little bit of competition for your Ziggy Zaggy Zuggy on Saturday in the first race. Sarah's Secret, I'm going to go with him. Let's hope that we'll see what happens with.
Hopefully we can crack a good draw.
Yeah. Well, maybe play an exacta there between the two of them. Right. Another horse that I'm pretty fond of that you want to talk about is Dollar Tractor.
That's right. Nice work on the outside of Dream Forest yesterday morning, where Rendell Simons rode him. He was pretty unlucky last time to get beaten on the line by Uzo. A very fine margin there. That was a top performance though, because it was his first time over 1500 meters and also in the benchmark of 56. So he's climbed the rating pretty nicely, this horse Dollar Tractor. He's by Captain L, and those Captain Ls just keep getting better and better with each and every run. Unfortunately, he's not entered this week. Probably we could see him in the coming weeks.
All right. Well, there is Dollar Tractor. Horse has done pretty well. I like him. Then, right, I want to talk about Overdose. And tough race last time, Overdose, from a wide draw. And he ended up finishing second to 8 Cities. 8 Cities been a revelation this year. He's really improved, although I never liked him for Saturday. He never ran any sort of race. But Overdose, working well. He's back in at 1850, which I honestly believe is the best trip for him. I think he won on International Day in a higher rating on International Day, over the 1850. And I reckon that this week he could just go one better. Overdose. Excellent times for a stayer. When I say excellent times, I'm talking about his track work times yesterday morning. Good work for a stayer, and he looks in top condition when he was returning as well. Swapneel Rama, once again, he'd probably be riding him because he worked him. Looks like Swapneel's got some nice rides. Probably, do you think Swapneel needed the run last week? Looks like he could have maybe needed the run. The one race I saw, his chest was heaving, but you know, with race riding, you get fit quite quickly. And let's see, it'll be nice to see the tongue man back in the winner's box. But Overdose, I think he's a big runner on Saturday. In fact, I think that's 2 horses we've spoken about from the Narang stable, so let's hope he has a good day as well. Right, the horse that we were talking about early on from the Simon Jones stable, Well Connected, another horse that I really do like. He's one of our 2 to follow. I can't remember if it was mine or yours. So. Could be mine, but you spotted him yesterday morning?
Yeah, much more improved than by the son of Silvano last time on 4th to Promisari. Tough race that day because he broke from barrier 8 and he traveled pretty wide, but still managed to finish 4th close to Promisari. He worked well on his own on the Swapneel Rama yesterday morning.
Swapneel Rama again.
Yeah, again, he's got. I would imagine he's going to get some good rides this week, Swapneel. Who knows? He might give himself and Simon their first winner with this Well Connected. He's entered in race 3 over 1400 meters, benchmark 36. So they've got Haler, they've got Well Connected.
And they've got Swapneel Rama.
Then they've got Swapneel Rama. So
I like
fingers crossed.
Yeah, I like this horse's run last time. I'm not blaming Rakesh Bagur. I'm not sort of criticizing his ride, but I thought he went a little bit too wide. He went for a sort of a early run, took him out very wide, finishing beautifully all the way. But it was his second run.
The inside on Promissory and just.
Yeah, I think Well Connected quite easily pull off Simon's first winner of the season. Let's hope so. Right, horse that caught my eye last time was It Dawned on Me. Well, it did dawn on me when I watched him. I love this horse's last run. He was a 1.5 lengths behind Viking Trail. He was always caught off in a one-off position, and he's made some. It was a dramatic improvement from his first run to his second run, and I feel he's just made even more improvement. Good finishing time considering he raced one off the most of the way. He still had a very good finishing time. He's had the 2 runs under the belt now. He's made the improvement, and unfortunately not in this week. It dawned on me, but he's a horse that from the Hurchin yard, definitely worthwhile following with Manuel Nunes in the irons, and just have a look at that big improvement he made from his first to his second run. In my opinion, he's made more improvement, so we will definitely keep an eye on It Dawned on Me. Hopefully we'll see him in the entries next week. Right. Another horse, you've taken all my horses, Shale. Captain Gone Wild, I'm a big fan of his as well. Yeah. The inauguration form. So let's talk about him. You spotted him.
Yeah, good second to Vasco Street Tractor last time in a benchmark of 41 where he goes for the first time. Diego de Gouveia admitted himself on TV that it was his second ride. He probably didn't know the track. If he went probably 1 or 2 strides just early, if he moved a little bit, he waited a little bit more, he probably could have won that race. He lost only by 0.35 in the end. As I said early on, being by Captain L, just as the other horse Dollar Tractor, they just keep getting better and better. I think this one is still cold. They haven't gelded him yet.
Yeah.
So Captain Gone Wild is just promising for the future. He galloped on his own in the Jamia Liosen yesterday morning, and he was looking in great shape after his workout. Unfortunately for Simon Jones, he's also entered in that race of Well Connected. So he's entered in race 3, benchmark 36 for 1400 meters. So we've got Well Connected, Captain Gone Wild, and Tigers 1, who was in that battery trial. So that could be a little interesting race.
Tough race, yeah. Okay. All right, the horse I want to talk about is Virtue from the Jean-Michel Henry stable. Closely beaten in his last 2 starts. He continues to impress me, this horse, and especially on the sand track, he's really been working well. Beaten twice by Mutsi on the line, and like I said, you have to be considered unlucky. Both times he's actually looked like a winner, and Mutsi's just come and nabbed him on the line. 2 good rides from Manuel Nunes, must be said. He worked alongside the Wave Breaker, the sprinter, and both were not asked to do much that last little bit, but they nice in hand, nice work. Remember, he's in a benchmark 51. If I remember correctly, last time it was a 56. If I remember, so he does come back down to a 51. There won't be Mutsi in this race, and he must have a big chance this week. Virtue. Nice to see Cedric Sergeant back into the winner's box in the last race with the inauguration, and hopefully he can pull off another win with Virtue. Right, to finish off our morning's track work, Carlton Heights.
That's right, 4 runs this season and never far off the winner. Latest went 4th to Jet Buff, only 1.5 length behind him, and he was hanging in badly under pressure at the end of Pravé-Choril. Nice work alongside From the Ashes yesterday morning. He was on his inside, and he kept alongside really nicely. From the Ashes is a better horse than Carlton Heights probably. New jockey on board this week. Amos Udil has signed the young South African jockey Eric Ngwane. He has landed safely. He was track work this morning, even though he hasn't ridden. He is 26 years old. He has around 100 winners throughout his young career in South Africa. I know the South African jockey sent him to the British Racing School, so he's got a little bit of experience back in England too. So interesting to see how Eric Ngwane goes this week. So from what I understand, he's going to ride this week. But I see that they've got only 2 horses entered. That is Carlton Heights, and I can't remember the other horse. But Amos Udil doesn't have a lot of runners this week. So let's see how Eric Ngwane goes for 2 rides.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's wish the youngster all the best. Never easy to kick off your career here in Mauritius, especially as a youngster. Okay. Well, that's a wrap for our Wednesday show, Jour du Galop. Remember, on Friday morning, On the Mark, where we will be finding more winners. I used to say we try and find more winners, but now we are finding winners. So on Friday morning, we're going to carry on finding winners for you, and hopefully enjoy our show. We will see you on Friday, and then next week, Wednesday, we're doing Jour du Galop for Saturday's meeting. All right, thanks very much for joining us. Catch up with you on Friday. Goodbye.